Good afternoon. You probably don't put your 4-year-old in charge of your checking account. You don't allow the baby to make the decisions about where you're going to live. You don't put the elementary school student in charge of the calculus homework. You don't put an inexperienced person in the job in charge of the most experienced part of the job. There's just boundaries, there's just things that we would choose not to do because we recognize that the person that we're asking to do it is not capable of handling that kind of responsibility. We understand that in this world there are going to be levels that people are going to have to achieve, that they're going to have to move through certain phases of their life before they're capable of so much more. But is that the same when it comes to a person's faith? Is that the same when it comes to the responsibilities of what spiritually we're being asked to handle? Well, this is what it says in Luke chapter 16, verse 10. The person who is faithful with very little is also faithful with much. And the person who is unrighteous with very little is also unrighteous with much. Jesus is making the point there in a story that if you have a person who has been given very little to manage and they prove themselves to be faithful, well then in all likelihood they're going to prove themselves faithful when they have many more resources at their disposal, when they have bigger decisions that need to be made. They're going to be faithful in those things as well. And if a person is going away from God, a person is separated from God, then whether they have a little or a lot, they're also going to be unrighteous. They're also going to be unfaithful, and they're going to be disobedient to God no matter how much they have or how little or much responsibility they've been given. That's something that comes as a matter of faith. Faithfulness is something that God grants to His people. Faithfulness is something that God works in His people. And He often starts them off with a little responsibility, growing them into faithfulness in a lot of responsibility. Spiritual growth is what we think of there. Spiritual growth and faithfulness that comes as we continue to be in God's Word, as we continue to grow in what God's truth is telling us, especially as we look forward to the eternity that we have in Jesus. Until we see each other again, the Lord's blessings on your day.